Hello everyone, welcome back to Russ Plays Games. My name is Russ and today I'm starting a brand new Let's Play series. As you can see, it's going to be Final Fantasy II for the Super Nintendo. Now, an interesting note about this game, the reason why it's called Final Fantasy II, because it's actually Final Fantasy IV in Japan. And what happened is Square, which was known as, well, Square of Japan, which was known as Square Soft, or Square Software in America, was going to bring their new, or they were going to bring Final Fantasy II, the original Final Fantasy II for the Famicom, over to the United States. While they were in progress of doing translations and of trying to get it to market, because the original one came out in 1990 in America, the original Final Fantasy, people, by that time, the Super Famicom had come out, and they had already come out with Final Fantasy IV. And so Nintendo kind of looked and said, well, hey, you've already got a Final Fantasy for the what we're going to call the Super Nintendo in America, right? Square said yes, and they said, well, why don't you just bring that over and scrap your plans to do anything for the NES, because as soon as we release the Super Nintendo, well, then you're going to want that. Everybody's going to want that, and they're not going to want to buy Final Fantasy II on the original Nintendo. So Square thought about it, and they said, you know what? Why don't we do that? Ergo, we got Final Fantasy II. And so, not knowing here in America that this was the fourth game in the series, we actually thoroughly ate up this game. Now, in Japan, there were two versions of this game made. One was called Easy Type, the other was called Hard Type. When they ported this over here, because we'd only gotten one Final Fantasy game, we got the Easy Type version. Now, a lot of people kind of are like, well, we could have handled it. The thing is, a lot of those people that talk that way weren't alive when this game came out, or they were very, very young. And what happened is most people that bought Final Fantasy VII later on for the PlayStation in 1997, and started playing at that point, went back and played some of these games and were like, oh my gosh, how come this one is so easy? And that's because a lot of us, role-playing games over here in America were not like Final Fantasy. A lot of our role-playing games were games like Eye of the Beholder, for the PC, and various games like that. We did not have very many JRPGs, and our only experience with JRPGs up to this point were, if you count it as an RPG series, The Legend of Zelda and Dragon Warrior, which is Dragon Quest in Japan. And so Final Fantasy kind of changed the face of how an RPG game is made and played. Okay? Now, this game is the first one to feature the active time battle system. So now, what we're going to do is, we're going to watch the intro here. Now, this intro actually had some extra parts to it, in terms of in the flashback sequence here in the beginning. Captain Cecil, we're about to arrive. Good. Why are we robbing crystals from innocent people? That's our duty. Do we really have to keep doing this? Give us the crystal of water. What have we done? The crystal or your life. Never! Then take the crystal by force. So this is not actually in the original game. Wow! No, don't dare to defy us. Wah! My, all right, take the crystal. You should have said it earlier. So they added that in for American audiences to kind of explain the prologue here. Why is the King of Baron doing this? Why do you pursue the crystal so eagerly? So forgive the English translation. This was actually before Square got its act together. We take pride in being members of the Red Wings. Looting is out of the question. Yes, stop it. Captain, we can't stand doing this anymore. Listen, possessing the crystal is an essential factor for our prosperity. Moreover, His Majesty judged that the Mazidians knew too much about the secret of the crystal. We are the Red Wings, the Air Force of the Kingdom Baron. The Royal Command is absolute. Captain! He laid down the law. Whoosh. Monsters! Take up fighting positions! So here we have kind of our first taste of battle. You actually don't do anything in this battle, so just kind of lay there. That is an item known as a Red Fang. We don't actually get to see that in this version of Final Fantasy. It kind of sucks. Ouch! You okay? More are coming! Watch out! That was known as Zeus's Wrath in the original game, the original Final Fantasy. And again, we didn't get that one either. Everyone okay? Yes, sir. But there are too many monsters these days. Too many, agreed. What's happening? We are over, Baron. Make a landing. And this is the last time we're going to see an airship for a while. For probably about another third of the game. Which kind of sucks. Because I really like airships. They're a lot of fun. But that's kind of the way of things. Oh, Cecil, is it the crystal of water? But the Mazidians were so helpless. What are you trying to say? This way, Cecil. Trying to get a sycophantic voice. Yes, you are. And we can just sit back and listen to Nobuo Uematsu's score. Please wait here. Your Majesty, I'm afraid Cecil has developed quite a rebellious air. Truly? Well done, by gun. We must do something. Call him in. Yes, Your Majesty. Cecil, His Majesty summons you. Please come in. We thank you for successfully completing the mission. Now, where is it? Here, my liege. Hand over the crystal. Real crystal. Good. Cecil, you may leave now. Your Majesty. What? What is it? We do not understand the meaning of taking crystals away from honest people. Disobeying me? No, I don't. We do know of your discontent, Cecil. If you cannot trust me, I can no longer place the Red Wings in your command. You are dismissed from your post. Your Majesty. Go and hunt the summoned monsters of the Misty Valley, and take this package to the village Mist. You may depart tomorrow morning. Your Majesty. Cecil didn't... If you're concerned about Cecil that much, go with him, Cain. Your Majesty. Now, leave with the package. Receive the package. Your Majesty! Sorry, Cain. Don't worry, he'll put you back in command of the Red Wings after this mission. But never mind, go back to your room and take a rest. Now, Cain kind of explains, like, the basics of movement. Walk in all directions using the control pad and talk to every person you meet using the A button. You must be careful not to miss what they say. An unexpected person may give you information. If the king hears people talk about him like this, he'll be angry. Treasure your life. Now, in newer versions, you can actually press the B button and actually run a little faster, but in this one you can't. I feel something strange about the king lately. I have faith in his majesty. Again, trying to go for more of a sycophantic voice. The Misty Valley is in the northwest. If our Dragoon Cain and Cecil of the Red Wings joined forces, there would be no match. Dang right. What's wrong? Sorry, Cain. No, stop that. I mastered the Dark Sword at His Majesty's command, but I did not use it for the purposes of evil. Do not blame yourself. His Majesty must have his own reason. Can't you sleep? Your room is at the top of the left tower. Better talk to all the people in this castle before going to bed. Said going to the bed, but I cut that out. As you can tell, I played this game to death. Heard you brought back the crystal water from the Zydia. I wasn't sleeping. Yeah. Rosa became a white wizard to be of help. Be nice to her. The king has become very energetic lately, but something is strange. I'm studying the basics. I learned Cure 1 in my last class. Alrighty. Sleep! Aren't you sleepy? I'm working on the use of magic spells in battle right now. Some monsters are immune to the basic spells such as fire, ice, and lightning. Must be more to learn. Well, of course, there's always more to learn, man. Pick up some books off that shelf and learn some stuff. Jeez, man, what do people think this is? Take the treasure in this room. The switch is on that wall there. So sorry if my voice for Cecil kind of goes in and out. I'm still trying to find his voice. So, we'll go this way first. Go the other way, we'll end up doing some story stuff. The treasure of Baron is stored here. No one is allowed! Oh, alright, fine. I found a good place to goof off and take a nap. Oops! No, I'm just kidding. Oh, please don't tell our boss. Did you see our boss Sid anywhere? Why, no. No, I haven't yet. Off limits! Alright, fine, man. Dang. Now, sometimes you could come in from the side, but apparently you can't. So yeah. We can't get into that treasure room just yet. We will, though. Don't worry. We'll get there eventually. As I've said, this is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. I absolutely love this game. It has such a great story to it. And it's really one of the best of the older Final Fantasies. Cecil? Are you not hurt? I was so anxious. We are not hurt. How could we be? The wizards didn't even raise their hands. Cecil? Can I see you later? Yeah, later. Oh, she loves him. A woman looks back at you like that, man, it's love. The mages who didn't submit are confined here. You can talk to them over the cage. Basically means through the bars. But you have to wait for some of them, like that guy's all the way at the back of his cell. Come on, man. Get your butt up here. You're that Dark Knight! Please return the crystal to Zydia. You don't understand. The crystal's not just jewelry. Yeah, I know. Hey, Cecil! How's my airship doing? What's wrong? I was, what? Who's gonna command the Red Wings then? I'm not sure what the king is thinking. He ordered me to make an airship, but I don't want it to be used as a weapon. Well, I gotta go home. I've been working all night and my daughter's worried about me. So that is Sid. In every Final Fantasy since Final Fantasy II, there has been a Sid in the game somewhere. Either as a playable character or as a non-playable character. As for which one this one is, you'll just have to wait and see. I've changed the sheets. Leaving early tomorrow morning, sir? Good night. You have our own personal maid. That's awesome. Now watch this. Look, Ma, no hands. What happened to His Majesty? The Crystal of Mysidia. Do we really have to snatch it from the peace-loving people? Never again, even if ordered. Cecil? What's wrong? You're not quite yourself lately. Nothing. Then, please don't look away. In Mysidia, we had to rob from the innocent people. Oh dear. I am just a dark knight with no courage to disobey His Majesty. The real Cecil I know would never whimper like this. You are going to miss tomorrow, right? If anything should happen to you. Don't worry. Kane is coming too. It's late. Go back to your room. Take care. Thanks, Rosa. Still, I am just a dark knight. Excuse me. Let's go, Cecil. Outside the castle is the city of Baron. Let's gather information and equipment in the city. And thus begins one of the longest intros in Final Fantasy history. Oh, how I miss this theme. Oh, I love this theme. This theme is called, aptly, Final Fantasy. Nobuo Uematsu wrote it. Thus, the Dark Knight Cecil was expelled from his command as captain of the Red Wings, and he and Dragoon Kane left Baron for the village mist in a valley enclosed in deep fog. Nobuo Uematsu wrote this for the original Final Fantasy. Airships had been a dream of many people. After the realization of the dream came greed and ambition. Through its fleet of airships, Baron became the most powerful nation. But why is Baron seeking the crystals? Why do the monsters keep increasing? The crystal was shedding its light silently. So if you've ever wanted to know the answer to those questions, well, you're in the right place. Final Fantasy II will answer all of your questions. I know it's 4. Alright, so here we are. We're out in the overworld. Let's take a look at our thing here. So we have items. So as you can see, we have a package, we have a Cure 1, and we have a tent. Now, unlike the original Final Fantasy, the tent, they only had 2 types of things. They had a tent and a house. And at a certain point, the tent doesn't recover every single bit of HP and MP. And then you need the house. But in this game, the tents are really here and you just use them. They don't save your game or anything like that. Magic, cannot use. So we can't look at any magic spells right away. Okay. For Dragoon Kain, he has iron equipment. He's got a iron shield, spear, iron helmet, iron armor, iron gauntlets. Now, notice that his attack power, so you've got his portrait there on the left. To the right of his portrait, the sword is his attack power. The shield is his defense power, and the crystal ball below that is his magic defense. Below that is his name and what hand he uses. Now, if you click on the little thing on YouTube there and go full screen and actually sit there and watch this. Actually watch it. Because he will use his left hand. So, the way that the sprites sit in battle 90% of the time, and I'll explain this once we get into battle, they will be standing with their left shoulders facing the camera. Normally, with most of the Final Fantasies, especially if you go back and look at the original one on the original Nintendo, not the Super Nintendo, the original Nintendo, he will actually, like, you see the guy, he'll come out, and then he'll kind of like, just kind of stand there, and then the sword just kind of comes out and makes the motion. In this game, I was surprised at the level of detail in the sprites. In this game, Kain actually puts his left hand forward, and that's where the spear comes from, is his left hand. It's actually pretty cool. So for Cecil here, we have shadow equipment. So he's got a shadow sword, shadow shield, shadow helmet, shadow armor, shadow gauntlets. You can see he is right-handed. He's got a defense of 17, an attack of 15, and a magic defense of 1. So looking here at the status, we have Dragoon. Kain is a Dragoon of level 10. Okay, he uses his left hand. His HP is 190 out of 190. He has 2,300 experience, and he needs 759 to level up. Now to kind of go down and talk about what this is here. So the abilities are their basic scores. So Kain has a strength of 9 and agility of 11, which means he's going to be pretty good at evading attacks. He's got a vitality of 9, a wisdom of 6, and a will of 12. Okay. His attack there, it says 2 times 13, which means he's going to do approximately 26 damage with each thing. His attack percentage is 99%. That means 99 times out of 100, he's going to hit the monster or whatever you're attacking. Okay. His defense is 1 times 14, which means that for every 1 attack against him, he's got a 14 defense. Okay, and that's used in calculation of damage. The defense percent is his evade percentage, so 20% of the time he's going to evade an attack. His magic defense is 0 times 1, and his magic defense percent is 2%. So that means for his magic defense, he's going to take basically full damage from a spell. And his magic defense being 2% of the time, he'll dodge the spell. For Cecil, we see he is a Dark Knight level 10. Right-handed, he has 200 out of 200 hit points, 3,000 experience, and 334 needed for level up. For his ability, He has a strength of 13, an agility of 10, a vitality of 11, wisdom of 6, will of 3. His attack is 2 times 15, so he's going to do approximately, he's going to do a little bit more than Cain will in terms of damage. But he has a lesser attack percent. He's only got 82%. That means about 8 times out of 10 he's going to actually miss. His defense is 1 times 17, with his defense percentage being 22%, so 22% he's going to evade. His magic defense is 1%, which means 1% of the time, and he's also going to take full damage from magic. Now, for form, you can change your party members around. For change, this is change row, okay? So back row, front row. So we have, you can see here, 5 slots. So if I move him here, Cain is now in the back row. If I move him up here, he's now in the front row. If I change, and I hit form, I can actually move these guys up to the front row like this, okay? So that's kind of how it works, all right? The custom is just your window. This is just your battle speed, your battle message speed if you want it in stereo or mono, and then your window color if you want to change the color of the window at all, you can do that. I'm going to leave it the default blue. Now, if we hit save, you can see we have 4 save slots. This was one of the first Final Fantasy games that had multiple save slots. Actually, I think Final Fantasy III might have had a couple different slots, but Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy II on the NES actually had 1 save slot. And so if you started a new game, you overrode, and then you saved the game, you overrode that slot. This was one of the first ones that had a battery backup for multiple save slots, okay? So if you do that, it kind of just shows you where you're at, okay? And then down below that we have the time, which is how long it's been since you started the game, and how many gold pieces, okay? Now in this game it was still called gold pieces, or GP. It wasn't until we got to Final Fantasy VII that they started calling it gil. And from then on, Final Fantasy has always used gil as their form of currency. So let's go into the town of Baron here and let's talk to some people. Cecil of the Red Wing, Misty Valley is beyond the Cave of Northwest.
This is the training room for you warriors. We teach you how to advance in your adventure. You'd better listen to the instructions or you may not go far.
So if you come in here, if you're brand new to Final Fantasy, if you've never played actually, to make a record of your journey is called a save. You can make a save on the field map or save points all around the world. That's basic knowledge. When you hear a new name, you'd better note its direction. Same as maps, the upper part means north and the lower south. Left means west and the right is east. I always use left, right, up, down. I don't care to use north, south, east, west. It is better to save before taking a rest or going into unknown places. Even if your party is wiped out, you may restart from the point in which you saved. You can make a total of 4 saves. You better make more than 2 saves in case a save should be lost. Specifying where to save the data, your family can enjoy the game in turn. Yeah, if your family actually did want to play it. You can change your name by talking to the man on the left. He's everywhere. Find him in towns.
When walking, only one person will be shown. You can select that person by the R button.
So since we only have 2 people, we can go swing.
Defensive mode.
No, this is Cain. So you can actually walk around with him if you want, or Cecil. You can go inside of places with chocobos. Get off first by... You can't go inside places with chocobos. Get off first by pushing A button. Remember, chocobos will return to their woods when freed. They live in round-shaped forests. You can catch and ride chocobos using A button, just like talking. While riding chocobos, you don't encounter enemies. Do you know chocobos? They are ostrich-like birds, which can be used as transportation. So for American audiences, this was actually the first time that we had seen chocobos. Now, chocobos actually came out in Final Fantasy II for the NES. Well, the original Famicom. And so we never actually saw them before this game. So chocobos were a new mode of transportation for us. Oh, and this guy over here, this guy, his name is Naming Way. If you want to change the name of the party members, so like if you're like, I don't really like Cecil and Cain, I'm going to change it, go for it. Just walk up to him and talk to him. When your items get too many to carry,
Go to the big chocobos and leave items in their care. When it smells like chocobos, use carrot. Big chocobos will surely appear. So again, we didn't have Gishal greens, we had carrots. Talk to this dude. You want to read the words slowly during the battles, reduce the battle message speed. The problem is, if you have it where I have it right now, it's still pretty darn slow. You need to decide quickly in battles. If you're not confident or not used to it yet, use the menu screen to reduce the battle speed. So basically what he's talking about is, we go to custom here, and we go down to battle speed. So the battle message is how fast the text in the message scrolls across the screen. The battle speed is how fast monsters react. So if you have it on 1, they will attack very, very quickly. If you have it on 6, they take a while. Usually I have it on 3 or 4. The default's 3. I'm going to put it on 4 just to kind of slow it down just a tiny bit. That way you guys can kind of see some of the stuff within the battles.
You should move the people with less HPs into the back using the change command. During battles, you can change the front and rear row by pushing the left of the control pad when in turn. By pushing to right, you can also select parry. Recklessness often proves to be damaging. When you are losing a battle, don't hesitate to run away by pushing L and R at the same time. That will become important later, folks.
There are spells which can be used for all. In the battles, you can cast a spell on all enemies by pushing the control pad to the left and all allies to the right.
Oh, and then he just says on the menu screen, you can cast spells by pushing left or right. So basically, if I had a healer in my party, like a white mage, then if I select their cure spell, I can actually just select whichever one I want.
Don't keep running away from your enemies. You may drop some money when escaping from them.
Monsters like zombies and skeletons receive great damage from fire and cure magic.
Monsters living in water are weak against the attacks of thunder.
Some monsters have their weak points. Monster of fire is weak against coldness. Monster of ice is weak against fire. See? And that, if anyone has ever played a Final Fantasy game, like, at all, you'll know that. You can equip weapons on a certain hand. There are some who can equip on both hands, though. Be careful not to run out of arrows. Bows won't, but arrows will be gone when used. Some weapons can be used as items during battles. You have to equip them on the hand first, though. To change or supply new weapons during battles, select and change within the item window. I'll explain that when we get into our first battle. So this first episode is going to go a little long because I'm actually going to kind of show the town of Baron. I'm going to kind of walk around and do a few things. So this one might be a little long. I'm going to try to keep these down a little bit more. So as you can see, we have this one over here. This is called Serpent Road. This is Serpent Road that leads to Mysidia, but now Mysidia sealed the other road. So if you walk in here and you jump on this thing, it goes.
It has been sealed at Mysidia's end.
So we can't go to Mysidia. But don't worry, we'll probably be able to go back there, maybe. We'll see.
Why is the king training the soldiers on how to use the sword of the dark side?
Locked. Well, we can't go in there.
More all-night work. He still feels young. Town folks speak ill of the soldiers and the king. My father often quarrels with them for that.
The Guide of World Birds. The History of Shipbuilding. Buoyancy and its Principles. There's nothing in that one.
It's the new engine.
And then if you talk to the fire, ouch!
Don't go to Mist. It will be awful, I can tell.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, we can't get into the weapon shop either. And there's a Cure 1 in that pot. If you come down here and into here, this is Rosa's house.
The king's become dreadful. I heard you did an awful thing in Myzidia. Don't drag Rosa into trouble, I beg you.
Oh, move, old woman. There's an Ether 1. So, an Ether 1 actually is, it recovers basically about 30 MP magic points. Now, one of the things that's down here is you can see that there's a sort. So if you double click that, it actually, so if you hit the A button and hit it again, it sorts everything for you automatically. This is the trash icon. You can select it, and then you can go up and you can actually select something to, so you can actually select something and then trash it. Okay? So that's kind of a way to do things, if you wish. Now, if we come over here by the inn, there's another Cure 1 in this pot.
Why are you wearing such dark armor? Are you a bad guy?
So this is probably the cheapest inn in the game. We're not going to stay there right now. There's actually nothing else in these pots. Sometimes it pays the check. There's Cure 1 there. Wanted, great dancers. Ask at the counter. Baronian Inn. One of the reasons why we came in here is if you go in front of these crossed swords and push the A button, it opens up this door, and in here you'll find a Cure 1, a heal, and a tent. The heal is basically it.
Cecil, I've done nothing. I've never failed to pay taxes.
Welcome, Mr. Dark Knight. Money? No, I can't charge you. So you can see that people are kind of scared of us in this town. Some of them are like, whoa, and some of them are like, you know, oh, hey, we know you. You're kind of this guy. So basically, going back here, the heal, it heals any condition. So if you're familiar with more modern Final Fantasies, there's a lot of things like Maiden's Kiss, which heals Frog and the Frog status. And there's the Mallet, which heals the Mini status. There's the Cross, which heals the Curse status. This game, they decided to streamline all of those different things and just basically into one, and they called it a heal. So you never have to worry about trying to find a golden needle to cure the stone status or anything like that.
Well, the Dark Knight. A bit scary, but cool.
Now, in the original game of Final Fantasy IV, there's a reason why you see this dancer.
Oh, the Dark Knight. Want to see something?
There's a reason why this dancer turns around. Because in the original Final Fantasy IV, she actually wears a dress. A red dress. And what she does is, and this is why she walks over there. I never understood why she did that motion until I played the PlayStation version of Final Fantasy IV. What she does is, when she turns around, she throws off her red dress and it goes to right where Cecil is standing. Then she starts jumping around and she starts doing her little thing, and she's actually got, like, you can see a little bra and you see a little underwear, and she dances around for you, and then what she does is she turns around at the end, she goes back over, she grabs the dress, she comes back over, when she turns around, the dress is back on her again. Because Nintendo of America is what they are, back then, they were like, no, you can't show that. So there's a tent here, and a tent here, and that's, I think, everything. Pretty sure. Because that's a tent, and that one's the tent. Yep. Okay. So Nintendo, being Nintendo of America at the time, they said, nope, you can't do that. You can't show that because if a kid sees it, what are they gonna think? They're gonna see some sprite walking around with white bands in front of where her breasts and vagina could be. So they changed it to that sprite that you see, the dancer.
That door at the west of the building in the town, it's the underpass to the Castle Baron.
So if we go in here, there's a little hidden passage. And so we can come over here, and we can come back to this gigantic field, and we'll pick up some extra things here. Now again, we didn't have things like Phoenix Downs and things like that. So basically, so in this game, you don't die, you get swooned, which is basically like KO. You're basically unconscious, you're not dead. Okay, so the life spell brings back to sense. And basically what they meant by that was, it's basically like, oh, I've taken so much damage, I fainted. And so they're saying is you take this life potion and you like splash it on the person's face. It's like splashing with cold water, and they're just like, oh, wait, what? So that's basically it. It does what it says. There's nothing else there. I don't think there's anything else in this. I've checked most of these. Pretty sure there isn't. Okay, so one last place that we'll check out here before we go in. Before we go outside. Like I said, this one's going to be a little long. I'm at like 41 minutes already, almost 42 minutes. But I kind of wanted to show off the town of Baron, and I kind of wanted to show off the intro and talk to everybody.
Do not forget to take Cure 1, Heal, and Tent. It will be tough outside of the town.
So here you can actually buy 10 or 1. And so if you, and you can actually, if you want to just buy 9, if you want to buy 10, if you want to buy more. So like if I go to 20, whatever. What's really funny is, if you watch the sprite, so you can see Cecil and Kane there, if I go up, actually if I go like this and I go to life, which is 1500 GP, you can see I only have 300, and if I try to buy it, watch what happens. They die. So that's their death animations. So if you die in battle, that's what it is. And then the shopkeeper says, not enough GP. Well, goodbye. So what we're going to do is, we're going to buy a few Cure 1s, 1 heal, a couple more Cure 1s, and we're not going to worry about a carrot. So what happens is, in this game, if you buy a whole bunch of single potions, you can see that they're all in the same place. Now, you can either stand there and grab, put in, or you can go all the way down here to the bottom. Sorry, my Xbox 360 D-pad is a little off. Hit sort, go back out, click on item, bam, there you go. So now we have 10 Cure 1s, we have an Ether 1, a heal, and a life, and 4 tents. So we have 4 heals, 4 tents, 10 Cure 1s, 1 Ether 1, 1 life, and the package. Cannot use here. Well, dad burning. I thought we could open it here in town. Alright, well, it looks like we'll probably have to go to the Village of Mist. So, what I'm going to do is, because it's almost 45 minutes now, I'm going to go ahead and save the game. And we will go ahead and call this an episode. So, next time, will we be able to get to the Village of Mist? Find out next time on Let's Play Final Fantasy. This is Russ for Russ Plays Games, signing off. Have a good day.